It's you to drop your comment. What is the effect of this subsidy on Nigeria? What will happen without a proper plan being?
A lot of people have said the inaugural speech was not inspiring. A lot of parts to pick out of the speech. At a time when Nigerians need a lot of healing, you need to have a speech that rallied people. And we thought that he was going to make key pronouncements, feeling the pains of people as regards the elections. But what he said was, yes, the election was highly contested, but I won. No, it's not about who won now. It's about the electoral process.
The first day of His Excellency Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu has sparked up a lot of reaction on the social media, even on the street. Before the announcement that the oil subsidy is gone, people has already been queuing, has already lining up at the gas station, expecting that something of that nature will happen. And a lot of people have also said that, hey, that His Excellency Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu's speech sounds somehow say it's not that inspiring. And reacting to this reaction from people and how the whole thing is going, a lot of people have been commenting, have been saying that, okay, we think the speech is fair enough, the speech is okay, and just that when Rufai here has to react to it, he has a different opinion, especially I think it's just on the oil subsidy that is not the right time, even though he wants it. But then what is the plan
on the economy? Now, with respect to the fuel subsidy, this is correct. I mean, it's no, you can't cost, and I think he did say there's no provision beyond. I think he was referring to the fact that the provision ends in June. So the 3.6 trillion that's been appropriated, there's nothing going for. Well, I think technically what he meant was that, you know, there's
empirical factor. No, true. But empirical factor, there was budget provision, but it ended in June. It was half year.
Right, but we're fine. So if you want, that's, I mean, if you want to split hairs, you can do that. But here, everybody knows that the Ministry of Finance repeatedly said last year that there is no provision for subsidy beyond June. So maybe, as far as what he meant, he said, you know, in his speech, he said, look, this is what I hear, this is what I've read. There isn't enough money to put on this. And if you look at the quote there, he says there is not enough for this to go forward. Subsidies need to be removed. The sad thing is that he has been put in a hole by his predecessor, who wasted 8 years and should have taken this off, and now there's no money left, and it has to be removed. I mean, there was a lot in the streets. I mean, we can rifle. Go ahead.
I want to ask you a quick question, please. And that was, you know, what came to my mind when I heard yet another president talk about the removal of subsidy. We've talked about the reasons why this hasn't been affected by previous governments who have announced that they would remove subsidy. To what extent should we hold this announcement true? Because he's not the first to say it,
right?
You know, and we've talked about, you know, the Buhari administration, even through the signing of the PIA, it seemed like this was it. And they assured Nigerians that they were going to remove subsidy before the end of his tenure. Then towards the end of his tenure, he then, you know, does
President Tinubu is backed into a corner. I mean, at this point, there is literally no money to continue this. He said during the campaign that he was going to take off subsidies. And this inaugural speech, before he spoke, I was saying privately to people that, listen, he needs to lay out his agenda, because the entire world is watching this inauguration. Nigerians, people from other parts of the country, investors and everything. He needed to lay a marker down. There is no way that we have 31 days now until the subsidy provision, end of June. There's no way he backs down from this. His credibility will be destroyed. And you have to say, Tinubu speaks with an air of arrogance and an air of confidence, right? And you say it's gone. Subsidies, you can't go back from that.
Some will call it confidence and just being assured.
But you know, so he speaks a lot of confidence, and I think he can't go back on this, and he literally cannot, because of the amount of funds that this is gulping, you know. So he's got to move on. I mean, there were lots in there.
The market now.
Well, so yeah, we saw there's a video I took where I was driving by the Palms, where there was a line snaking around there it is. So that was right after his speech. You're already seeing, you know, stations holding fuel. Look, the market will respond, right? And yes, it's wrong. They shouldn't be doing that, but they're essentially trying to maximize their profits since the subsidy has essentially, you know, according to the president, been removed. But you have to remember that we no longer have to have this expenditure on what cannot be afforded. And remember, only as far as who consumes majority of this fuel, it's the individuals with cars, you know, large industrials fuels and so on and so forth, they are getting essentially a tax cut on this. So it's something that has to go. And look, he spoke, I have to say, you know I have been hard on him during the campaign and other things, but from a market perspective, he really hit the right notes. From the fuel subsidies to interest rates to monetary policy, exchange rates. I mean, every single thing he said, if you're a foreign investor, if you're a business owner, I mean, there'll be short-term pain if you want to move your exchange rates to a unified rate. In terms of where if you're talking about floating the naira now and the spikes and the volatility.
You remember the Bloomberg story?
Yeah.
Rotus.
Yeah.
And let me give you a feedback. You remember the Bloomberg story that we took that projected that he was going to unify the exchange rates, that spiked, that the Bloomberg story said the rate was going to go over 500.
Yeah.
You know, that story spiked the market. I got calls from a lot of currency dealers that story spiked the market. In fact, I had to go check back, and they said, you know what, I did I take any story about Bloomberg saying the interest rate was going to be unified and spiked up, right? So yeah, and that did spike the market. And my bone of contention has always been, yes, we will unify exchange rate, which is good.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but how we do it, and the time at which we do it, at a time where we have some debt denominated in dollars,
yeah,
that it will make the cost of the debt increase.
Okay, that's correct.
That's the argument I put forward.
So the thing is again, like fuel subsidies, President Tinubu has been backed into a corner by former President Buhari. Former President Buhari should have removed fuel subsidies years ago.
So many things. A lot of people have said the inaugural speech was not inspiring. A lot of parts to pick out of the speech. At a time when Nigerians need a lot of healing, you need to have a speech that rallied people. And we thought that he was going to make key pronouncements, feeling the pains of people as regards the elections. But what he said was, yes, the election was highly contested, but I won. No, it's not about who won now. It's about the electoral process, which has been challenged in court. And to a large extent, what you say as regards that matters a lot to a lot of people that are watching.
On fuel subsidy, unfortunately, the budget that I've glimpsed before I assumed office and what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
What is the effect of this subsidy removal at this time on the life of Nigerians, on the life of citizens? Is this the right move? The first day or the first action that this administration they will take? Is this the right decision? Is this the right move that the President Tinubu has made? And let's read from you. Let's hear your opinion, and we move from there.
Secondly, I think the President-elect should quickly put together, even if it's a kitchen cabinet economic team. I mean, the President, beg your pardon. You know, even if it's a quick kitchen cabinet economic team, to be able to ensure that the mistakes he has made at his inaugural speech, he fixes them. And pardon my Freudian slip, it gets time getting used to. When you say something for a long while, there's something called a Freudian slip in your head. Because you have made some mistakes with that speech. The first one, and I just fact-check him now, when he said there was no provision for subsidy in the 2023 budget, that's not true. There was provision for subsidy, but it was up to half of the year.
So it was June.
So President Tinubu saying there was no provision for subsidy, that's not true.
Before the announcement that the oil subsidy is gone, people has already been queuing, has already lining up at the gas station, expecting that something of that nature will happen. And a lot of people have also said that, hey, that His Excellency Tinubu's speech sounds somehow say it's not that inspiring. And reacting to this reaction from people and how the whole thing is going, a lot of people have been commenting, have been saying that, okay, we think the speech is fair enough, the speech is okay, and just that when Rufai here has to react to it, he has a different opinion, especially I think it's just on the oil subsidy that is not the right time, even though he wants it. But then what is the plan? what is the goal? How is it going to go about it? Is this going to put a lot of Nigerians in trouble? And we are already saying what can happen immediately if that happens and there's no plan. But the truth, or what I feel, was intentionally, possibly, this action was left for Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu to just take the decision, because there's nothing that the previous administration of former President Buhari will have just go ahead and said, okay, we're removing the subsidy. So I think it's deliberately, they just left it for this administration that just started yesterday. They just left it for them to take that decision, hoping that when this is announced, that possibly Nigeria will take it in a different form. So, and I believe Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu was also trying to impress Nigeria by announcing that what this is what people have been waiting for, this is what Nigerian has been waiting for, and finally it happens. So I believe that we embrace it, which a lot of people embrace it, a lot of people take it to heart, and they trust. Well, I mean, they buy to that idea, but just few people said, hey, forget it. This thing will cause trouble. It will cause trouble. And I need you to drop your comment. What is the effect of this high subsidy on Nigeria? What will happen without a proper plan being laid down? Without us knowing what the plan is, what will happen? And we have to hear and see the clear plan of how this will unfold, how it will go. Unless we continue to see people on the streets, we continue to see people trying to make sure that, okay, everything is all right, everything is fine. At least they want to save well for themselves for the next few months. And then when the governments figure themselves out, and let me hear from you. Please do drop your comment, because if you like say the first office we be say Oga enter today, it go hot more with all the criticism and everything where they go on, and people have been reacting to this. Someone said that Rufai is so biased. My God, can't you see? Or can't you see? Someone said, someone on her right saying the truth without sentiment. Well, it's a lot of things going on, and someone said Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is already taking the heat. He's already taking the heat. And we're going to be seeing a lot of reaction in the next few days, in the next few months. I see someone saying that this is from hellfire to lake of fire. Buhari is gullible. And those who hype him are the nitwit of our time. Well, it's just going to be hot. It's going to be, I think before people can really adjust to this development, it's going to take time. And I said in my video sometimes last week that, okay, what if by chance, by enemies, that Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, the president, now you begin to make some move that makes sense, that actually help Nigerians, that push the economy to where, I mean, at least for us to see some kind of positive reaction, and the security will start saying something positive and things like that. Now, how will you feel? What will be your reaction? I went through your comment on that video, and it's just what it is. It's what it is. Okay, do drop your comment, make sure you just share your opinion. Let's know what is in your heart. What are you thinking? And a lot of people are just bombarding Rufai here. If you like say the Batify, they found themselves on Arise News today, and they are firing back that Rufai hatred for Tinubu will eventually consume him. Now, so they believe that it's more of hate, but then I think it's more of addressing issues. It's more of addressing issues, and when issues arise, we should address it. Of course, there will always be someone that will oppose whatever you think you believe, and that's what is going on. We cannot always be thinking the same way. Anyway, do share this video, make sure it gets to everyone, and make sure that you make your comments known. Let's read what is the effect of this subsidy removal at this time on the life of Nigerians, on the life of citizens. Is this the right move? The first day or the first action that this administration they will take, is this the right decision? Is this the right move that the president Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu has made? And let's read from you. Let's hear your opinion, and we'll move from there. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tr0uble. I'll come your way next time. Take care.